Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does!
And that might be the knockout punch.
All right, greetings and salutations. Another episode of Fangs up here. Forget the pipes a little bit, just a little raspy today, but man, great time. And it's the end of football season. So after football season, you kind of hit that period where it gets quiet, and then it gets crazy for about 2-3 days, and then it's kind of quiet again. So we are in the midst of basketball season, though. So you have something going on almost every day. But with that being stated, it's it's still not the same as football season. It's not what we quite get up for, and that's cool though. That's still cool because I mean you still want to cover the sports. Like I love FAMU. So, but before we get all that started, as y'all see, HBCU Digital, this is home. Also, shout out to CableBusterTV.com, title sponsor for the podcast here. And if you watched that game last night, you better than me. I watched some of the FAMU Florida game, and honestly, I kind of started doing some like a class project in the middle because yeah, wasn't close. Was not close. How's it going there, Miss Williams? One of our favorite show supporters and contributors. Yeah, that was an unnecessary mollywhopping. But it was, you knew what it was. I mean, it was not a game you came out there surprised. Final score was 102-62, and the Gators are better than us. I mean, I I said not so many words and a few mean ones that I don't like playing the Gators, can't stand the Gators. That's why. I mean, it's not a robbery. They're definitely sunning us, and nobody wants that. I mean, they are one of the premier programs in all sports, in most sports. They're at least average in almost every sport, even their football season, which they're like, oh, it's an abject failure. It was a winning season. I mean, but you get the first of two trips to Gainesville. Second trip to Gainesville will be tomorrow, volleyball tournament. So, I mean, how do we do there? That's got to be a question there. The elephant in the room is going to tell you that it's probably not going to be that good. Like, but let's hold out hope because I feel like through recruiting, FAMU made an effort to improve its talent. And that was evident this year. We saw where that increase in talent produced better results. I also felt that having better talent allowed us to run roughshod through the conference. And that makes this going to Gainesville more palatable. So we'll see tomorrow. Mm, I'm not overly hopeful, if I'm being honest, but I'm still gonna cheer. I'm still gonna root my team on. Don't think because oh man, I'm just taking that as a loss. I'm not, but I'm rational and I'm realistic. And the Gators are a tough out. We can do it, fam. You can do it. And part of that is just the competition in me. Like that's just that I don't want to give up. But in actuality, it's gonna be a tough road to hoe. So we'll see. But tomorrow, FAMU plays the University of Florida in volleyball, and yeah, I gotta see it. I gotta see it. I believe this is gonna be on SEC Network. Would not be surprised if it is. Most SEC games are at this point. Um, it kind of is what it is, y'all. And y'all know I'm petty, so I'm trying to pull it up because I forgot about it. Honestly, I forgot about the volleyball game. because I don't know if we're gonna win. Like, just being honest. Like, but if it is, we've had a good season. Like, the FAMU is going down there for the tournament, and man, I mean, just consider the growth you saw, like how the season started, how it ended. The game's on ESPN Plus at 2 o'clock. So, seven. I said two. I meant seven. So ESPN Plus 7 p.m. at the O'Connell Center. I mean, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not gonna get upset if we start losing. I'm just not. It's no reason in lying about it. Let's just be real. So we'll see how that goes. I think we'll do better than the men did. But again, if you watch that men's basketball team, they look better. They look better as a team than last year. Last year, you just had one dominant player that was just he was a bucket. Like, I think if MJ would have come back, you would have you would not have won another game, but you would have looked better. But I mean, the team moves the ball around pretty well. It's just they hadn't gelled yet, and you're playing a really tough schedule. You're playing really good teams. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to beat all those teams. And it's kind of to go back to basketball and apologize for not just kind of for jumping around there. But I think Dr. McClellan made a great point. If you caught the SWAC media days, and he's just like, no, I'm gonna stay here. He kind of frowned upon playing all these teams that you're overmatched against. He hinted that FAMU and not FAMU, but obviously I take it as FAMU because I'm biased. But teams in the SWAC need to play teams that are mid-major or more closely matched because it doesn't look good when you're getting blown out by these teams. We lost by 40 points last night. And honestly, I was late getting into the game. I didn't go. I didn't drive the game, so I'm petty. But I watched it, and it was a few minutes in, and it was already like 30-12, 30-10. It just outside of tip off, the game was never close. And so you have to work on your scheduling. That's something that's going to be a consistent. I think basketball did a good job. I thought volleyball did a fairly good job of that as well. We have to compete against teams that we can defeat. I mean, let's just be honest. It looks bad when you're have a losing record and you're getting into tournaments. I mean, that's one of the things we're saying about football. Oh, we've said about the football playoffs. These teams made the playoffs, but they had a worse record than us. And we feel some type of way about it. I'm just saying that's something to take into context. And honestly, Dr. McClellan mentioned getting the play-in game and then another game is actually better for the conference. And I was like, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about it like that. And he's like, it's better for the conference money-wise. I was like, okay. It was informative. I think if you get a chance, check out that SWAC Media Day. I'm not on it. I missed it this week, but it was informative. And I think you kind of get an idea as to what the SWAC is looking like and what some of the things they're doing. And we'll probably talk about that on Sunday. Like, what is the SWAC doing after this, conference championship game? Now you got the women's basketball team, and women's basketball team, they did a little something. I negated that the men got a game tomorrow, but I'm not respectfully. I'm watching the volleyball game. But women's basketball has a home game on December the 3rd against Sam Houston State, and that's an opportunity. If you're in Tallahassee, go check it out. I think, as I just mentioned, having a schedule that has some level of parity to it, this is where it starts to balance out. That South Alabama game wasn't bad, and you were missing players. You only had 7 players play that game. This could be a game where FAMU wins. I'm putting it on wax. I'm putting it out there for the FAMU Sam Houston State game. Might be upset. And it's not a huge upset, but FAMU basketball looks better than it has in a very long time on the women's area. The men's game is what it's gonna be. I'm not gonna get mad at Coach like this year. I'm not. I'm over that. That's hogwash. But Coach Pillow has a chance, and whoever worked on the schedule did her a favor because you have teams that you can compete against. Because you could have chased a bunch of checks, got a mollywhopping, got fired, got a new coach, and filled up the pocketbook to do it. But no, you're actually playing teams you can beat. And I dare say, if we had a full roster against South Alabama, that game would have been closer. I think this game, that travel to Tallahassee ain't easy. Don't be surprised FAMU pulls away. I'm gonna say FAMU's a 5-point favorite for me, just because of travel, distance, and you're getting some fresh legs back. The ladies might be very fresh if we did this practice thing right. So, I mean, that's kind of our big things we got this week. But we got news, and I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. I saw it from Kofi Hemingway first from the ONG Strike Zone, and Kofi mentioned, "Hey, OBC's confirmed it's Jackson State again," and that was, if you caught last time, that was one of my questions. That Jackson State game was supposed to come to Tallahassee. How are you going to manage that? And so I was like, I know we had about 40,000, but it was a little less than 30. But every year, the attendance has gone up the last 2 years. You had 36 the first year, and last year was 39,000, not 36 people. So almost 40,000 people. And I'll give you this. If you have not gone to the Orange Blossom Classic, Jackson State travels well, considering that's not a short drive. From Jackson to Tallahassee is like 6 hours. I've made that drive. Not fun. From Jackson to Miami, that's not a drive. That's a flight. I'm pretty sure Jackson's an international airport, so you might be able to get that on a direct flight. But for those that drove, that's a long ride, and it's it's good for me. I honestly think at this juncture where we are as a program, an athletic director who's not here yet, but is here, I think it's not a bad thing. And I feel like I feel like they did my girl a disservice. My athletic director. I feel like kind of having her come in so late isn't really. I mean, she may have experience, but it's a lot of just, to me, I don't like her coming in at the midway point of the year. I don't know how much of that could be changed, altered, whatever, but I do feel some type of way about why couldn't she start earlier? But I'm gonna get off that. But the OBC going to Miami for another year, it fulfills that contract. Hopefully, the travel stuff is solid. That's not a game I want our players riding the bus on. That I think they rode the bus last year. The first year we flew, and it was a 1-point loss. Last year, I believe they rode the bus, and it wasn't close. At least, can we find a way to get them a flight to Miami? I'm just saying that would be nice. Let them fly to Miami again this year, because last year that was an abject failure. To say it was anything but that is a misrepresentation of what that game was. That's why when people are arguing about us not being in a SWAC championship game, I'm like, I don't want that. We got killed. We lost. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. They beat us. It is what it is. Like, it just is. But that game next year, I don't like it being the first game of the season, but then again, I kind of do. Like, it's easy to look at last year's failure and say week 1, game 1, that was a lot. But that was their first game of the season too. Like, we had week 0, but we had all that compliance BS going on. You're going to go back, look at the previous year. That was a game, a good one. What you have to do now is look at the film, though. Like, you got to be able to see, what you can take away from the last 2 years and build upon that, because the OBC is a venue, as far as like, not a venue, but as an event, it's pretty solid. Like, Hard Rock Stadium's nice. I've been in the boxes. I was in the box the first year. Last year I was in the press box. It's a beautiful stadium. The location is solid. Like, the area around the stadium, they do a good job of keeping it safe. You're like, I left the game and it was kind of late, and I was like, yo, and I was like, I'm not uncomfortable. Like, I didn't feel like I needed to go and have my knife. I mean, I have a knife with me, but my knife wasn't in my pocket. I can't carry it to the stadium, but it wasn't far. But it was comfortable. Like, the whole time, police presence was there. Like, they do a good job. Now, the parking is high as sin. Like, parking was like $50. It's expensive to park if you're gonna park like right across from the stadium. But I mean, expect between parking and tolls, you're gonna spend $100 if you're driving like Tallahassee, but maybe 120. But I mean, here's what it is. But I'm just being honest with you. Like, for that, to me, it's probably the best decision to make in the short amount of time you have. Just because the hotels in the area are solid. Like, we never stay right in that hotel, that area. We stay about 10 minutes, 15 minutes away. It was easy. I mean, no complaints. My wife didn't love the hotel, but we're gonna stay in the same area, just different hotel. Like, she loved the area. We had family time. Like, we made a vacation of it. It's a great area. Hotel wise, the hotel prices were not terrible. Even if you waited kind of into the last minute to get a hotel. Don't judge me, judge your mom. But the hotel prices weren't terrible. I mean, you have enough hotels where the prices are competitive. And remember, this year you had back-to-back games. You had play BCU the day before, and my concern was, would the field hold up? It did great. It was awesome. Then again, getting to the stadium, it's not bad. It's like really pretty much right off the turnpike. So travel-wise, I think travel is a lot better. And then again, the venue's amazing. So why do I say these things? Because I think if you have that game in Tallahassee, where Jackson State is right now, sorry, I don't think Brad could host it. You'd almost want to take that game to Florida State. Almost. And that would have been a great story. That would have been really interesting to see Dion play a game in the house he built. Dion didn't play in that version of Doak. But I'm not going to do that to you because you're not a Seminole fan. But Dion played in the Erector set, not the rebuilt Doak. But I think that would have been cool. That would have been a really nice storyline. But you do, I think OBC is probably better suited to support that type of crowd for that game. That's just where I'm at with it. Now, the cons, the distance from Tallahassee, that's 8 hours. I'm not gonna lie to you. Until I moved closer to South Florida, I wouldn't go into that game. My parents won't go. I'll tell you that right now. Unless a brother hit it big and I fly them out of Tallahassee, my parents will not be at that game. And even still, they won't be. I doubt it. It's a long drive. I mean, unless you're from South Florida or you got somebody kind of midway, that's a long ride. My other con, the temperature. First year, we got lucky. That first year, it rained. If you don't remember, Orange Blossom Classic 2021, it rained like right before kickoff. Like, it was sunny, it was gorgeous, it was beautiful. All of a sudden, it just starts raining. And that actually helped with the temperature. This year, man, that was terrible. Some of y'all got baptized the next day because it was hot as hell. Like, it was just stupid heat. It took a toll on the players, took a toll on the band, and this year is Jackson State's problem. But I think you move that game tonight if you can. If you can make that a night game, you do it. Not like 8:00 kickoff, but make that a strong 6:00 kick. 5 or 6 o'clock kick. I'm thinking that's the way. Even if you have to only put it on HBCU Go, have them pick it up. Make it a 6 o'clock kick. The game gets out 10 or 11 and go with it, because that heat is oppressive. And if you're FAMU, you're the home team. I might wear white uniforms again. It's petty. Let them wear dark uniforms in the heat. Let them fight that fight. Is it the right thing to do? Absolutely not. But is it what the Dolphins be doing? Yep. So again, OBC, if you haven't heard, now you know, it's going to be back in Miami. So we'll see how many home games FAMU gets next year. Probably going to be closer to 4. Homecoming is going to be a sellout. Soon as you see that homecoming date, get your hotel. Otherwise, you may have to stay in Gainesville. But we have one less, I guess, day to deal with as far as time-wise. But I still say, going into this football season, FAMU and FSU need to communicate, and the SWAC and the ACC need to communicate. Like, they need to do their best to avoid having conference games in the same city at the same time. It can be Miami, it can be Tallahassee, but that's just my little 2 cents, especially for your small college towns. So, but as y'all can tell, the pipes are getting tired. It's been a long day. And thank God, Friday. Ooh, the words of the song, thank God it's Friday. But as always, y'all, big shout out to HBCU Digital Network and CableBustersTV.com. But just to give a quick recap, men's basketball, man, we got our butts kicked. 40-point loss. And tomorrow we go to play the Dogs in Georgia. It's going to be a basketball game there. SEC Network, 7 o'clock. FAMU's going to be all over SEC Network. SEC Network Plus, actually, 7 o'clock. Then you have the volleyball game. That too, SEC Network and 7 o'clock. Actually, ESPN Plus. Sorry, I said SEC. So ESPN Plus. Either way, get your cell phone, get your TV, get your computer, watch it, 2 of them at one time. And then you're going to have those going on. And women's basketball, they got a home game Saturday, December the 3rd, Sam Houston State. I'm predicting a victory. I think we win that game. Not being a homer, just predicting a win. And then inside the den, OBC is in Miami. And I'm really not mad at it. I'm not going to lie. I wondered how that was going to be navigated in Tallahassee. I'm somewhat relieved that it's not going to be a Tallahassee problem. Let Miami handle that for one more year. You work on Bragg. Let's expand it, expand the press box, make it a better venue. See if we can get that bad boy up to 30,000 and call it a day. But as always, it's going to be Fangs up. Y'all have a wonderful night. Sleep well. And let's get some Rattler wins this weekend.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how